So one of my common tropes on this channel, to the degree that it's probably now even a little cliche, is when someone tells me they're vegan, I know what they don't eat, but I don't know what they do eat. So I know they're eliminating, of course, the animal products, but as to their daily diet, do I really have a clear picture? Not necessarily. I could, of course, hazard a guess from experience, but not necessarily. I realise right now that there's a great percentage of my audience that know, roughly speaking, what I'm about to share on this, but there are a decent number of you watching right now, I believe, who don't actually realise yet that being vegan isn't automatically healthy. I'll say it once more. Being vegan isn't automatically healthy. For many of us, it can be a positive step in the right direction in terms of health optimization. But objectively speaking, there are still lots of foods under the quote-unquote vegan umbrella that aren't really that healthy for us. Still those with saturated fats, still those that are heavily processed and have the fibre stripped away, and perhaps other nasties thrown in there. So yeah, it is really worth being able to label and categorize foods so that we can optimize our health, if that's what we truly care about. You likely wouldn't be on my channel if that wasn't the case for you. So what I'd like to do here, and I made an Instagram post the other day, so you may have already seen this, but what I'm going to do in this video is share what I believe to be the top 10 worst vegan foods for weight loss. Now, just before we jump into those, I'm going to give a brief explanation of why many of those are included here. But just before we do that, it's worth me prefacing, it's worth me saying that not all of these foods need to be cast out of your diet altogether. It, of course, depends on your personal goals, what you're looking to achieve here, whether you perhaps want to lose some weight, whether you perhaps want to just focus on the fat loss aspect of things, and maybe you've got to be a bit more protein conscious. You've got to do a bit of work for yourself. These are my general rules of thumb, I suppose, for vegan weight loss here. Not all of them need to be gotten rid of, and I'll explain the caveats as we go. So number one on this list is coconut oil. Oils are very, very harmful, not only from a health perspective, but also weight loss perspective, because their calorie density is off the charts. You look at the back of any packet of oil here, any tub of oil, any jar of oil, no matter what it is, the calories per 100 grams or per tablespoon, they are unbelievable. And just even the sprinkling of a little oil on your salad, or maybe going into your frying pan for whatever it is you're making, that can really bulk up the calories of your overall meal. So from a weight loss perspective, this can be fairly hazardous. It's really like concentrated fat as well, with lots of the good nutrients stripped away because it's been so processed. And nothing worse in my mind than a saturated fat-rich oil like coconut oil. Those unsaturated oils aren't quite so bad, but I still think the whole category of oils should be avoided from a weight loss perspective. Number one, coconut oil. Number two, those mock meats. Now, granted, not all of these are as bad as one another. Something like an Impossible Burger is something that really isn't that healthy, really isn't that good for slimming down ultimately, but you might find, a nice sweet potato or pumpkin butternut squash burger, which might be a little more quote-unquote clean and not so bad for you. Number three here is vegan cheese. Number four is peanut butter. Now, things like nuts and seeds, these are a wonderful source of omegas, wonderful source of healthy fats, but when refined down to, when sort of condensed into a butter, they can be extremely calorie rich, of course. So again, this is one of the foods that I mentioned that sort of asterisk early on that when I prefaced this list. Because, yeah, again, there are health benefits to peanut butter, so long as you're not having peanut butter with a bunch of oil, of course, thrown in. There are health benefits to peanut butter, but we can go very easily overboard, I find, from a weight loss perspective. Number five is those loaded mocha coffees. So not necessarily just the coffee itself, but a coffee with all the trimmings and toppings, all of the cream, all of the plant milks, and not that plant milks are inherently bad, but all of those goodies on top that can really, again, bulk up those calories, not so clean. Number six is quite obviously those vegan cookies and desserts. Oreos, very famously vegan here in the UK. Seven, a rather contentious one from me, some might say, and this is medjool dates. Fruit generally is utterly incredible for weight loss. There is a small caveat to that, which is those dried fruits, which can be good for weight loss. They can be included on a balanced diet. The things like our dates, the things like our prunes, like our dried apricots, things like raisins, of course, as well, quite obviously. But what I do find is that people can very easily go overboard with these. They have a much higher calorie density than, many of those, or the vast majority of those, fresh fruits. And so we can go a bit OTT with these. You'll get a lot of people that come from that sort of high-carb vegan background. And by the way, my Just for the record, my approach here is very much a high carb one, but the extremely high carb background, and they're throwing in 10 bananas and 10 dates in their smoothies and wondering why they're perhaps not losing so much weight right now. That could be a common problem. So medjool dates do, I'm afraid, make this list. Does that mean you have to get rid of them entirely? Well, no, I put them into the same sort of category really as peanut butter here. Just be a little more mindful of them. If the scale is moving for you, happy days. If you plateau, might be worth looking at some of these things. Granola bars, number 8. Number 9, white pasta. I would much prefer that you guys, it would be my suggestion anyway, have something like whole wheat, a spelt pasta, maybe even a legume-based pasta, a lentil or a bean pasta. That would be considerably better in my opinion. And number 10, this is probably quite an obvious one, but it's last on the list, is alcohol. Not only, and it depends on the type of alcohol we're talking about, not only is in effect many forms of alcohol liquid calories, if you will. Some exceptions can be given here to the spirits, but many of them liquid calories. They also can do other things to us chemically that may encourage us to overeat, may encourage us to make very poor food choices as well. So that's my top 10 list. I just want to drum home this message once again on this channel of whole plant foods. These are the foods that have really changed my life. These fiber-rich, minimally processed foods, low calorie density, full of vitamins, minerals, and wonderful nutrients. These are the foods that have allowed me to slim down, lose 45 pounds over the past couple of years. It's not the vegan burgers and the vegan cheeses and vegan beer and things like that. It really is these whole plant foods. So back to those, focus on those folks if you're struggling with weight loss right now. That is my advice. Thanks for joining me here today. For more resources, as always, head over to naturalweightlossmastery.com. See you soon.